In a film that you think cannot go more Nicolas Cagey, it out Nicolas Cages itself. Oh my god! Prisoners of Ghostland is something else. So I have to be honest, when I get a movie with Nicolas Cage on my screening list, I know what I'm looking for because Nicolas Cage lately has been doing these very niche films, and my god, Prisoners of Ghostland is by far his most Nicolas Cage film as of late. To summarize it, I feel that this is a movie not made for everybody, and you will definitely see that. It's an absurd film with elements of Terry Gilliam and Japanese absurd films, directed by Sion Ono. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that name. A Japanese director that is known for directing outrageously crazy films. And it stars Nicolas Cage doing crazy thing. I gotta be honest, the story is very loose, but very interesting. This is a post-apocalyptic world where a nuclear explosion or a nuclear disaster of sorts changed the landscape. And so there is this weird, extremely colorful, almost medieval Japan time preserved in a little town where wild and crazy characters have taken over. And Nicolas Cage, in the beginning of the movie, robs a bank, some crazy stuff happens, he is in jail for many years, and now the mayor of this crazy Japanese-looking town needs somebody to rescue one of the women that run away from what looks to be his harem. And he recruits Nicolas Cage to do so. And he encourages him to do so by putting this weird leather suit with explosives on his neck, his arms, and his testicles. And he tells him, you got 5 days to bring my granddaughter back. And if you don't, these things will go off and you'll die. But if you bring her back, you're free. And so it's this journey of Nicolas Cage looking to bring somebody back into this weird Japanese town. Now, outside of this weird Japanese town, it's Ghostland, or this land where those who are lost have went, and it's a deserted Mad Max, bizarre kind of almost Terry Gilliam kind of world. Think of Brazil and Mad Max combined together, and that's that movie. Okay, so the reason why I'm talking to you about this movie is it's beautiful, it's outstandingly colorful, it's stylish, it's full of extremely bizarre things happening on screen that don't need explanation. It has homages to very interesting Japanese cinema, as well as observed cinema, as I mentioned, Terry Gilliam and Jodorowsky, and it combines those two together by a very powerful, unique, and I think one of his best Nicolas Cage performances ever. And what drew me into this movie were the opening shots, the cinematography, the framing, the movements, the symbolism. It's so well done that you don't care about how little things make sense on screen. You want to keep watching because you're wondering, what's next? What kind of weird choice the director is going to make? Where is the story going? And those little items keep drawing you in and keep you at attention to little details, seeking what does this really mean, if it even means anything, and trying to understand where this is going. And I love the way the director basically started in a very absurd place, and each scene kept escalating with this almost theater musical kind of performance. And I'm not talking about music accompanying the performance, but it feels like you're watching a musical. So the director keeps carrying you from scene to scene, amping it up a little bit and making it weirder and making it more interesting and placing more details on screen that never get an answer to, but you're okay with it. Also, there's very cool, stylish, almost Western-like fights with swords and guns. And there's a lot of interesting side characters that are outstanding in the way they're doing their fights. And Nicolas Cage is doing his best at trying to do the choreographies. Although in some spots, it's obvious that it's a double, but you don't care because everything else around it, it's so absurd. It sells it so well. But what really makes it interesting is that Nicolas Cage at some point is the most normal performer and the most normal character in the sea of extremely bizarre, crazy performances that are so over the top. But they belong in this movie that you're thinking, okay, in a Nicolas Cage movie, he is the most composed while everybody around him is what you would expect from Nicolas Cage to do with his crazy wide eyes, loud performances that Nicolas Cage is known for, while he is actually being a little bit more restrained on this beautiful monologue where he is just the wildest, somewhat contained until he explodes. And that performance, I gotta be honest, deserves an Oscar because it was so emotional and powerful, and it didn't matter what it was about. And in that kind of performances, you are taken aback by just seeing somebody do amazing things that you're not expecting in a movie of unexpected things, and delivers such a powerful connection with the audience where the words that the character are saying have very little meaning. That is the pinnacle of great acting for a very good actor that I again think that he has been dismissed lately for doing very B or C level movie. So I love this. I love everything around it, but that's not the only thing I like about it.
It's been 2 days and still she is missing.
The other part of this movie that I am super happy that was actually captured incredibly well, aside from the crazy colors, the great costumes, the music, the choreography, is Sofia Boutella. She plays the granddaughter of the mayor that is the catalyst for everything to happen. At the beginning of the movie, she and another couple of women escape her imprisonment and ends up in the Ghostland. Her performances are beautiful, even though she has very few lines. Sometimes you just see her eye. And the level of emotional delivery that she's able to provide, the connection that she creates with the audience, where she seems to be the only sane person in this incredibly insane world. I've seen her in other beautiful films used as a side character, and I wish there was more screen time, more dialogue for her character, because she really delivered beautifully in a sea of very weird, great performances. The side characters are great. There's this very quiet samurai that delivers very cool Akira Kurosawa style movement and choreography, and he's a badass. There's this mayor that wears all white, a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, and then were just painted white, and red gloves. He delivers a fantastic performance. And another couple of very odd but very fitting performances that bring a very weird, and I haven't seen this cast before, together into a movie that really, it's a piece of art more than a narrative story that is made for everybody. In fact, I would say that this film will do very poorly in the North American markets, but will do great in Europe and Japan, because I feel it was made for that audience, not our North American used to linear narrative. And because of the direction, because of the choices that the writers have made, because of the very absurd performances that fit in this absurd world, I feel the movie will not be seen as something as beautiful that it is. It is an hour and 42 minutes or so, and actually the opening montage of produced by and all of those credits take a long time, but forget about that and give it a chance to bring you in with the beautiful colors, the cinematography, and just let yourself go into this world of madness and craziness. And then the performances are really what's gonna bring everything together. Prisoners of Ghostland is definitely not for everybody, but for those who appreciate weird films, for those who think there's films that are so bad they're so good, and for those who just want to see something out of the ordinary, that's Prisoners of Ghostland made for. I feel the director really understands that bizarre part of the brain of some audiences and just makes movies for that kind of people. I loved it, and I am extremely excited to hear what you think about Prisoners of Ghostland. I'm Jin from Get Me More, and you know where to find me. Thanks for watching.